Hello, my lovely friends. How are we? Welcome. I thought I would do a super quick energy update for the energies around this new moon in Gemini, June 2023. We also have Midsummer next week and the summer solstice, which is the longest day of the year in the northern hemisphere, which marks the beginning of summer. Of course, if you're in the southern hemisphere, then it's winter and your shortest day. And it still amazes me the polarity of those experiences, which I think ties in beautifully to this new moon energy. There is this really strong emphasis with Gemini on this idea of having to make decisions. The rune for me that keeps coming through, and I shared with this at length with my patrons this week over on Patreon, is Ivars, and I haven't got that with me at the moment. I'll have to share it in another post. But Ivars can represent the polarity of our energetic experiences and the equal and opposite experiences that we can have. Now, I think at the moment, I personally feel like we're being called to reflect on how we think about things. So there could be sudden shifts in perspective, which could be quite unexpected. We could suddenly see things or perceive things in a very different way. For some of us, some kind of truth might be coming to light, but I really get this is more of an inner shift, inner realization, inner change, witnessing change in the world around us, or the decision to pursue a new path. We could suddenly decide we want to go in a new direction, have a new calling. And this could feel like a drastic 180 from things that we've done previously. And again, this is a period of initiation in our lives. So we're then going to begin to move forwards in a new direction. And you could have felt like this was coming for a long time, but I just feel like this energy at the moment, this new beginning that is right there, it's available to us. And it just takes that shift of perspective. And I don't think that's something that we can force. I feel like it's something, if it's going to happen, is going to happen quite naturally, quite organically. And it's just going to, the word that's coming through is just like revelation. So those can be inner revelations, personal revelations. It could be outward revelations. Either way, they kind of propel us and shift us in a new direction. So for some of us, as I said before, there is this feeling that maybe we'll start thinking about things differently, see something in a different light, perhaps see somebody in a different light, and then decide how we want to move forwards because of this realization, because of this revelation. And what that's doing is propelling us forwards. It's putting us in the right direction, but also, it can be a bit alarming on one level when suddenly you see something so differently. So allow yourself the catch-up phase, the integration phase. For some of us, we could then go and question ourselves and try and talk ourselves out of what it is that we've just realized, or awakenings or awareness that we've just had. And I think that level of introspection, that questioning of the self, especially before we make big decisions or big life changes, can be really important. I think we have to be mindful of where we suddenly talk ourselves out of things or shut ourselves down and say that we can't do something. But in a positive and a progressive way, sometimes we can look at those decisions and ask ourselves those questions of, what's my reasoning for doing this? Why do I want to do this? Why do I want that end result? If it's just, say, for example, you've decided, you see something differently, you feel this sense of moving in a new direction or pursuing a new path, which feels exciting. And then you ask yourself, okay, but what's my motivation here? And you sort of get to the core of it, and you maybe dance around talking yourself out of it and debate with yourself the pros and the cons, and maybe even write those down, journal about it. There's a lot of emphasis on, the throat chakra, on communication, on writing, on words, and I've said again, on communication, which includes self-communication. So whatever way it is that you would maybe rationalize through some of the potentials of this decision. And I think for many of us, we'll find actually all this does is confirm to us that, yes, this is the right path. This is the way that I want to move forwards. And I'll just say again, just be gentle with yourselves, because this energy is, these sort of catalysts of energy can be shocking sometimes. They can be very eye-opening, and then we have decisions to make on how to move forwards. So take the time that you need. I'll always say that I always feel like there's so much focus on, arriving at a point like new moon or something, or full moon, and then it's like, it's going to happen now because it's now. But actually what I see is that, especially if you look at the moon and the way it controls the tides, and the way it can work with the energies that flow within us, and that process of release and, awakening, and it all encompassing the flow of our own individual energy, how that manifests, how that adjusts our frequency. It's okay for these awarenesses that we gain. Say this moment right now, or these thoughts that you might be having that begin now, that might take a week, 6 months, a year, 6 years even, to really percolate in your mind. Maybe you set in motion a chain of events now that move you in a new direction, and this movement is, a vital part of your life path. Maybe it doesn't mean you're going to see the immediate results tomorrow. Maybe it's the beginning of a brand new book, let alone a new chapter. And that can be really exciting. I think it's just sensing that feeling of alignment, doing the inner inquiries. If you feel that sense of resistance, of anxiety, of panic, of feeling like you need to talk yourself out of something, or if you feel someone else is trying to talk you into something that maybe is not in alignment with what you've been feeling called to. So definitely really tuning in and honouring that communication with self right now, asking those questions, recognizing when it could be really subtle, or it could be really huge sort of awakenings or shifts or redirections come to the forefront of your mind, and then go, okay, all right, I think I'm going to try this, I think I'm going to do this. And it can be as simple as that. And as simple as that, releasing the resistance, which shifts your inner vibration, which then automatically pulls you into alignment with different kinds of opportunities and people and situations that are of that frequency. So there is, there's so much emphasis we put on ourselves of physically doing sometimes, but this is the being part. That's the feminine energy, the energetic expression, in that sense. So be chill. With the summer solstice upon us, of course, the longest day of the year and the shortest night, it's got so much different symbolism. But I feel for many of us, these big markers, these big chapters in time, how we structure a year, depending on whichever calendar you use, these sun-related chapters in our lives often ask us to look at our sense of fulfillment and happiness and bliss, and our own personal power, what we're drawing from, and how we're expressing that within the world, which will be different for everybody. So just take that time, take the amount of time that you need to enjoy, to embrace that inner light, and see what it says to you, see where it's guiding you. So I'll wrap this up now. I hope this video assists some of you, but I just want to wish you a really happy new moon and a wonderful solstice, or midsummer, whichever you celebrate. I hope you enjoy the sunshine. It's been beautiful here in the UK. Excuse the work shed from where I'm filming. I've been making some little sauce hammers and things, and it's quiet here, apart from the nature noises. So have a wonderful one. Thank you for being here. If you enjoy this, feel free to like, share, subscribe, but I'm just happy to be here. Sending you lots of love, and I'll speak to you really, really soon.